Thank you, Mr. Chair. The bipartisan infrastructure laws, broadband infrastructure investments have put the United States on the cusp of finally beginning to close the digital divide. But broadband infrastructure is just half of the equation. Without dedicated efforts on digital equity and affordability, we still risk leaving millions of Americans unable to access the internet, which means they're disconnected from school, disconnected from healthcare, and the modern world. One of the hallmarks of digital equity and affordability is the FCC's Affordable Connectivity Program, which has helped over 18 million Americans and over 600,000 Georgians afford essential internet service through ACP, the Affordable Connectivity Program. This is a great start, but there are over 51 million Americans that qualify for the ACP, so clearly much more work needs to be done. Ms. Gomez, how does and how should the FCC support states in conducting outreach for the ACP program?
Thank you very much, Senator, for that question. I have personal experience with poverty. When I was in high school, right before going to college, my family lost everything. And I had to scrape my way, borrow, work my way through college and through law school. And I faced that difficult decision of whether to pay my phone bill or how, not buy food, I guess. I had to pay my rent too. And I like to tell this story, and I apologize for taking time saying it. I just want you to know how personal this is to me. I would call my brother. It was usually around May of every year, and I would say, Louis, I can't pay my phone bill this month. And he'd say, how much do you need? And I'd say, $34. And he would send me 100, and that 100 felt like 1,000 at the time. So I very much understand how difficult it is for families, especially low-income families, to make these decisions, but yet still maintain that connectivity that is so vital to us today. And so I forgot your question, but if confirmed, I'm happy to.
Well, I think personal experience and perspective is absolutely important to getting the policy right.
Yes.
But the question is how is the FCC conducting outreach for the ACP program to help these families?
Thank you, sir.
And what is it that it should be doing? But I have the same question for Mr. Starks and Mr. Carr as well. Go ahead, Ms. Gomez.
Thank you very much. I have to admit I'm not at the commission, so I'm not 100% sure of what the commission is doing. I would hope that they are conducting that outreach because families need to know that there is this available to them as a service.
Yes, thank you for the question, Senator. Thank you for your hard work and leadership here. I believe the issue of, connecting these vulnerable households has never been more important, helping to see them through the pandemic, helping to see them find their way to new jobs, get the job training that they need, helping to connect young learners. At the FCC, we obviously do have specific outreach programs. We have, the Navigator program, the competitive outreach program. Some of that also is for tribal. I, in particular, have a Your Home, Your Internet program that is focusing on helping those that are in public housing, those that are in a public housing authority on Section 8. Those in particular, there are very low numbers of those folks that are low-income households that are enrolled in our ACP program. And so I have a pilot program specifically focusing on this. And I've traveled all around the nation to see this in particular. The last thing that I'd say is, I've traveled extensively there in Georgia, traveled to Albany, Georgia, to Cuthbert, Georgia, even very downstate. ACP is equally important there, even in very rural areas. And so our focus there.
Especially in our rural areas. And thank you so much for your work there. Mr. Carr, same question.
Thank you, Senator. One of the things that we've done is stand up an outreach grant program to have third parties help spread the word about ACP. That's something that the Infrastructure Act called for. As I've traveled, I've also done events to sort of highlight it. I did a roundtable with Senator Lujan's staff, for instance, in New Mexico to raise it. And it's a very important issue. And also, I just separately want to thank you for your work, including on rural broadband issues. You have a precision agriculture legislation with Senator Thune that I think is a really smart initiative and can make a difference here.
And that's an important piece of legislation. Proud to work on it with my colleague, Senator Thune. But if people don't have a broadband connection, then it's for naught. But the issue is both access and affordability. Thank you all so very much. We need an all-hands-on-deck approach. Broadband is to the 21st century what electrification was to the 20th century. We got to make sure that people aren't left behind. Thank you.